The... Okay. Where's all this Mountain Dew coming from? Okay, whatever. Son of a... What the what is going... Oh, God! What the... No! What? What is this? Okay, whatever. Oh no.
Well, I guess it's that time again.
Oh dear. Ugh. Okay, well, I'm definitely not doing this alone.
And that's why Rule 34 should never be applied to Fallout. What do you want, Nation? I'm trying to record.
Hey man, you want to review Call of Duty Advanced Warfare with me?
Why would I want to review CoD? I review good games on my channel.
But come on, please. It's too painful to do alone. I can't do it.
No, I don't want to review CoD. I don't want to play another CoD game. I've played them all. They all suck, except for Call of Duty 4. But it doesn't matter, okay? Because they're all trash, and they're just the same thing over and over, just for the money. God, there is literally nothing in this universe that will make me want to review a CoD game, okay? God.
Click. Okay then, I guess we're not doing that together.
So, Advanced Warfare, huh? How about that? Dude, what are you doing?
This is my show. I should have an intro. It should be my intro.
But you don't have an intro.
Well, I'll whip something up.
Alright, let's see it. I should file for copyright infringement.
So we're here to review Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, the newest Call of Duty game in the series. And me, personally, I've had a lot of history with Call of Duty, whereas Dezzy over here, not so much.
Yeah, I've only played CoD, Mew 2, Blops 2, just a little bit of it, and Goats.
So anyway, we're going to review the next one that came right after Blops 2. And to me, it's actually not as bad as you would think.
But this didn't come after Blops 2. There was a year between that.
Unlike the previous installments, developed by Treyarch and Infinity Ward, Advanced Warfare was developed by Sledgehammer Games. Sledgehammer had a hand in developing the multiplayer for Modern Warfare 3, but this time they get their entire game with Activision publishing for them, without Infinity Ward or Treyarch to be involved in any way. So, did they play it safe and stick to Treyarch and Infinity Ward's tried and true but boring concept, or did they innovate like we've all been waiting for?
So let's start with the story. Now, if you haven't played the story or played through it fully, there are going to be spoilers when I'm talking about it. If you don't want spoilers ruined for you, you should probably keep watching anyway, because we're really good at this. So, you start as a Marine in a stereotype war scenario in a major city, nothing new that we've seen before. You're with your best friend, who happens to be the CEO to Atlas's son, but more on that later. So you continue through the mission, fighting Koreans and stuff, and everything's alright, and you're going through and blah blah blah, but then, at the end of the mission, you have to shove a bomb in this plane to blow it up. And your best friend starts to do that, but the door slide gets his arm stuck in there, and he pushes you off to save your life. But, in the process, you fall down, and a piece of metal from the side of the plane explodes off and chops your left arm off. So moving on to a lighter note, Kevin Spacey, who is the CEO to Atlas, your best friend's dad, knows you very well because you grew up with his son, obviously, and wants to give you a second chance, which entails giving you a new prosthetic arm and enlisting you into his private military, being used by America because they can't fight in their own wars anymore. Not sure why, but moving on. So, you find out after a while that Kevin Spacey is actually the real bad guy behind everything. Big surprise, because, you know, it's Kevin fucking Spacey. But the best part of his character is that he genuinely believes that he's doing the right thing for the world. Character writing 101, A+, guys.
Something unique that really shines through in this Call of Duty is that you're part of a private military force whose goals are more monetary rather than generic save-the-world army. So there's more of a gray morality going on there. And there's a fantastic cast for this Call of Duty. First up is the player character, Jack Mitchell, who is voiced by Troy Baker, whom you may know as Booker fucking DeWitt or the Joker in Batman Arkham Origins. He doesn't really talk in the gameplay, which is disappointing, so it's pretty standard CoD protagonist. But his narrations during the loading screens and the cutscenes is nice to hear.
The main antagonist is Jonathan Irons, who is played by Kevin Spacey. He has a lot more screen time and vocal work than anyone else in the game, considering he's been the main focus of the advertising for the game. One thing I must make clear is that his acting and delivery is amazing.
Of course, the tragedy is, dying for what you believe in doesn't make it true. You're not young, but you are strong, Cormac. So I give you 20 minutes to bleed out. Time enough to consider whether it was all worth it. And you. The prodigal son returns. I believed in you. I gave you a second chance. You're nothing like Will.
Unlike a lot of actors that do voiceovers for games, he did the motion capture for his character the whole time, so his actions and emotions are really believable. And if you don't know who Kevin Spacey is, watch these. Gideon, who's another character, was voiced by Gideon Emery, who played Fergus in Wolfenstein: The New Order. Just in case you wanted to know.
Another thing that makes Advanced Warfare unique is the setting. This game takes place in 2057, which is the farthest in the future we've gone in the Call of Duty franchise. So that means you get to see a lot of new cool future tech and how the city's evolved over the years. Detroit looks the same though, strangely enough. And everything's prettier than the other CODs. Oh my gosh, new gen console capability! It's so good! It looks so really good with the character detail and the textures and the environment and the 720p 60 frames per second, dude! Graphics!
So, this is the greatest graphical leap between Call of Duty installments from Black Ops 2 to Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
Dude, 2013 was a year. It happened. They made a Call of Duty installment. They do it every year. That one was Ghost. It had a dog that you could dog around with and sharks and you were fighting in space. Guns in space. Guns in space.
I told you there is no Call of Duty Ghost. It does not exist.
Sure, there's no Call of Duty Ghost. Sure, I get it. Yeah.
Something I need to point out is early in the game, you take a tour of the Atlas facility. This gives the player time to see all the new technology that Atlas has developed in a safe environment. Everything you see, you get to experience firsthand later in the game, so the player will already feel comfortable using this equipment and know how it works. This is a perfect example of fantastic level design.
So now that we've covered the story, let's move on to gameplay.
So the last 5 Call of Duties have been the same exact gameplay. Since Call of Duty 4, they haven't changed anything for 6 years. Maybe it's because it's on a new console, or maybe because they're finally listening to us fans and deciding to innovate the gameplay.
Okay, so let's start with the HUD. It's awesome. It's a small hologram that shows up on the stock end of your gun. It shows your lethal and tactical grenades, how much ammo you have in the clip, and your ammo in reserve. It doesn't get in the way, and it helps with the immersion of being in the future, and it just looks nice. So the main piece of equipment you have, which reminds me a bit of the Crysis games, is your exosuit, which gives you different abilities for each mission. Now, in other reviews, I've heard this be a big complaint that, oh, you don't get all the abilities of the exosuit for every mission. But I really like this, because when you go into a mission, it shows you the title of the mission, where it's at, and what kind of exosuit you're using, so you know what to expect, because if you had all the powers of the exosuit, I say powers very lightly, then there'd be no challenge. You'd be absolutely unstoppable, and the game would be unrealistic. And some of these awesome abilities includes a massive double jump, a cloak, a grappling hook, mag grips, and enhanced strength. You also get really sick gadgets like the mute charge, the harmonic charge, and the interchangeable grenades. Especially the threat and smart grenades, which I find the most useful, and the assault drone, which is a cool little thing that's in some missions, and a smart fly, which is only used in one mission, but is still really, really cool.
Oh yeah, and fucking laser guns!
And another new mechanic they tried to implement is an RPG element of a skill tree to give the player a better feeling of freedom with their character. But it's more like a skill bush than anything.
Yeah, that's kind of a B- effort right there.
The vehicle sections are kind of a hit and miss. The ones that play well, like the hover tank and the fighter jet, are great. But the ones that play poorly are extremely clunky and just feel weird. These ones are the hover bike and the speedboat, and they're just terrible. And talking about the speedboat, where the hell does Alona or Alina or whatever the hell her name, where does she go in that boat? It's clearly a one-seater. Like, there is nowhere she can be. Was she like hanging on to the end, but then you're like diving and shit, so like she would just fly off? What the hell? Seriously.
Okay, and there's no real place for this, but I do want to mention a little detail in the winter level that was actually really, really cool.
Okay, so the scenario is you're stuck in an underground ice cave where you have a temperature gauge on your wrist that's part of your exosuit, another cool little feature. And it lowers the further and further you get down into this ice cave, and it raises slightly when you get close to the character who's holding the flare torch thing. It's a flare, but it works as a torch. Anyway, it's just a small thing, but it's a really nice touch. So, what do I think of this game? It's actually pretty good. I mean, it's got its hiccups, but no game is perfect. It's a breath of fresh air to the CoD universe, and I would recommend it to fans of CoD and people that like shooters but don't want to play Call of Duty because they're sick of the same old shit day in and day out.
Yeah, personally, this game really surprised me. It's honestly the best Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 1, which is saying a lot. It had enough new features to never get stale, but it didn't overwhelm you like Blops 2. This story is a lot stronger, with more of an emphasis on making the antagonist a believable character with justifiable motives, and less racism and military cockstroking. I would recommend this game to gamers who, like myself, who feel that the Call of Duty's games have been just about making a quick buck rather than a quality experience.
Alright guys, thanks for watching, thanks for spending some time here listening to us talk about the CADs, the COD, wish there was more kittens. Anyway, if you want to see me scream like a little girl and get super scared, check out my Evil Within playthrough, or to watch me get super, super pissed off, watch me play the ending of Alien Isolation.
And shameless self-promotion here, check out my channel right here on my face. I do reviews and top 10s, and I'm also doing this mega review of all of the 3DS games right now. It might be out when this video's out, who knows. But remember to comment on like what you thought of CAD, or subscribe definitely to this guy's channel since you're already here anyway. So, yeah. Peace out. A-Town now.